Howell Bashimi Habashai Bashima Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone, the room, and teach well. Peace of salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. It's going to be a fairly quick lesson in the spirit, just something that has been on my mind the past few days. I've really been in the spirit of observing this last, week or so. Just peeping things, learning things, watching, understanding. You know, understanding new environments, new spirits, new things like you know what I'm saying. I just been in that type of mode, and there's one thing that kind of rested with my spirit, or it's been on my spirit, and that's just looking, actually seeing or looking at brothers, faces. You know what I'm saying? And that can, a brother's countenance tells you a lot, and that's pretty much what this is gonna be about. And I'm gonna, I guess, align it with just one specific thing, because bros, all of us, we go through something. Our hell is not unique. Our hell is not unique. Or whatever you go through, whatever that brother goes through, whatever, it's not unique. It's what's common to the normal individual. It's just the only thing that is different is we're not going through it in vain, like the millions upon millions are going through their hells and unfortunate circumstances in vain. We're not going through it in vain because we have the Lord, and we're going through it for a purpose. We're actually being molded and created into something that's going to be beautiful. Our spirits are being, you know, shaped into something that's going to be extraordinary when it's all said and done. But again, I want to stay on topic, is actually looking at bros' faces. Again, I know we kind of sometimes hide what we're going through pretty well, but sometimes you just gotta like pay attention a little bit more. Maybe when you salute a brother, I tend to bow to bros when I salute. That's just something I do. But maybe if you salute a brother, like actually you look at him, look at his countenance, look at his face, and sometimes you can tell if a brother just needs to talk, or if a brother, you can ask a bro, hey, you good, whatever, or you don't even have to say a word. His face alone lets you know what you need to go home and pray for, you know. So, you know, we're all tired. We're all tired. We're all irritated, stressed out. Babylon, man, we wish Babylon was gone yesterday, but hey, we're here and we still got to push it through. So this is Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. And I know the world always reads only the first part of it, but you got to continue throughout the entire verse here. It says, Proverbs 27 and 17, it says, iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Right. So let's get the word sharpen. All right. It's Hadad, I think. Yeah, Hadad in the Hebrew. Okay. And that means to be alert or keen. Here's the word keen, acute. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the word acute pops up, meaning sharp or at a sharp angle. All right. It says highly developed. All right. So when I say like you gotta look at it, and when I say brothers kind of like hide what they're going through in their countenance, is because they're highly developed in the spirit. The Lord quickeneth. Even bros who just came in. The Lord dealeth with you more than the rest. Like straight up, you could have been in the truth for 6 months. The Lord deals with you way more than he does the average Joe Schmo. The scriptures talk about that in the book of Ecclesiasticus, where more things have been shown unto you. So you know the Lord's dealing with you. So your face, your face develops. Let's see. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking looking for. President Lincoln's face change images. So yeah, you see that? That was in a matter of 4 years. We always bring this up. All right, thank you. Go back over there. All right, give me 1 second, bros. All right, Salakia. All right, so this was in a matter of 4 years. Of course, during the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. You see how his face dramatically changed. It's sharp, he went through things, so his face changed according to his stress levels, all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing that we go through. Our face changes on the right hand side. You can look at a man and see the wisdom in him, you know, and it sharpens it keen. It's keen, and of course too, when you're in this truth, you do become more alert. Because you have to keep up with the prophecies and you have to understand that the Lord's coming as a thief of the night. So you're going to be up and alert. Like, okay, something's about to happen, you know? But I kind of want to stay on this point of watching a bro's face, because that can give you the key indications of what you need to pray for that brother. Some brothers they just be fucking tired, bro. You could just see it on their face. They're just fucking tired. And I'm here today to push this lesson and just sit here and say, I'm praying for you bros for strength, for mental fortitude, for physical and spiritual health. You know, um, I always say to bros, I pray for bros. I pray to the Lord to give brothers a little bit of breathing room. I know this. I know the scriptures say this is not our rest. It isn't our rest, but doesn't mean you can get no rest. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you get no rest. Just a little bit of breathing room, just so we can continue to push on and push forward. Just get the tad bit. All right. I said I'm not going to make this lesson too long, but this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 17. It says the countenance is a sign of changing of the heart. All right. The countenance is a sign of changing of the heart. You see that? The changing of the heart, meaning the changing of the mind. When you're going through, when cortisol levels are high, meaning stress, you can see it on someone's face. When you can see wrinkles developing. You know what I'm saying? You can see drooping of, you know, of the eyes. You can see what they call the little eye shadow, whatever lumps, whatever. You know, you just got the bags. That's what I'm saying. You got bags under your eyes. You can tell a brother's tired. Sometimes you can see when a brother is going through, he might not say it either, but he might be going through a jovial state in life, which is okay. It's wonderful. You're just doing good. You may be making money. Your rib may not be giving you bullshit. You probably just had a child and that's a blessing or something like that, or you got a new car, whatever you're going through in life, your countenance is going to show that. You're going to have, your chest and your chest is going to be out a little bit. Your shoulders are going to be, it's just the nature of the beast. What, like, if you're happy, what you going to do? Drag your feet all fucking day? No, you're just naturally going to be like that, upbeat. And you can see it in someone's face, but you can also see when someone's stressed, tired, maybe feeling alone, maybe need someone to talk to or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And you got to look at brother's face. You got to look at brothers' faces like that, and you see it. Sometimes there's an opening to where you can be like, hey, you good, bro? And he might spill it out to you, or you could just, like I said in the inception of this video, you could just, all right, hey, shalom, brother, while you looking at him and examining him, this brother might be going through a little something. He's trying to figure it out. Men usually get silent once they going through something. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to figure it out within their own mind. The scriptures tell you to examine yourself. The scriptures say, don't you know your own selves? So in order to know your own selves, you have to have that war within, and figure it out. And he may be going through that. It's like, you don't need to say nothing. You just go home and pray for whatever is on your spirit that you saw in his countenance. Because his countenance was a sign of changing what was going on in his mentality or in his mind or in his spirit. Simple. This is when the Lord says you got to love your neighbor or love your brother, it goes down to the minute detail of just catching facial features. You know what I'm saying? And then my last precept here is Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 25. It says, the heart of a man changeth his countenance. Yeah, so again, that goes back to what was said in the previous precept. Your face is a sign of a changing of your mind. It's the same thing here. The heart of a man changeth his countenance. You can't sit here and tell me, something just bad happens. You just, Kevin Hart cracking jokes shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's be some people's way to cope with shit, but good news, bad news, neutral news does change the countenance of your face. You know, when you're angry or livid, your face changes. When you're happy, your face changes. When you're stressed out, your face changes. When you're sad, your face changes. Your face is a big telltale sign. You know, um, is a big telltale sign that whatever mood you may be in. Again, some of us are really good at masking emotions and masking things. The other brothers, I think I talked about this in a few lessons that I've had before. Some brothers wear their heart on their sleeves. I'm one of them bros. You gonna tell. It's something I need to work on, but at the same time, it is something that's okay. It's you could tell someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, you could tell when they're angry, when they're sad, when they're mad, when they're irritated. You could tell. You know what I'm saying? This is on their face. It's in their body language. You could look at their fucking pinky finger and be like, oh, yep, 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 he's happy. You know what I'm saying? There's different personalities and things that the Lord created, but at the same time, even if you're a person who, wears your heart on his sleeve, still got to be unflappable. Still got to be practice a level of being unflappable, which is staying very calm, cool, and relaxed, even when you face hard, scary, or stressful situations. Don't show it all the time. You know what I'm saying? An unflappable person does not get nervous, angry, or upset when things go wrong. I mean, getting nervous, angry, or upset are natural feelings. So I wouldn't necessarily fully agree with this definition. And when it says there, an unflappable person does not. There are gonna be times where you can't sit here and tell me that you're not gonna get upset if your dog passes away or if you're sad. That's a stressful moment, but doesn't mean you just gotta, walk around with that sadness on you. Like, damn, yeah, bringing that energy. You gotta be a little bit called, but you hear what it's saying. You hear what I'm saying, brothers. Let's finish this precept out, and I'll finish the lesson. And I hope this touches home or touches brothers' hearts, and just to be a little bit more cognizant. Not to say that you aren't already, but just be a little bit more cognizant of one another because we are supposed to love one another as well. Just take a look at an individual's face and be like, okay, okay. Mental note. You don't always have to say anything. Just mental note. When you speak to one another, look each other in the eyes, look each other in the face, man. Examine. Yeah, boom, 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 da, da, da. But, shit. Really be in tune with one another. It says, whether it be for good or evil. Right. All right. I've been, fuck it. I'm going to say it. I've been around, I believe, a little bit long enough to understand because I've seen people come and go. Not as much as heads of camps and elders and apostles, but in my little tenure here, I've seen people come and go. I've seen enough people come and go. You know what I'm saying? And you can see the telltale signs. And ever since being in this spirit that I'm in right now, I reflect and I'm like, their face did change. You know what I'm saying? They had a different countenance every time they came around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a novice to this to what I'm speaking about right now because I'm sure elders have already been doing this, but I'm just putting it on wax for myself. Whatever. Hey, it says whether it be for good or evil. You could tell when someone has a good spirit on them through their face. You could tell when someone has that evil spirit or malicious or premeditative maliciousness type spirit on them by just looking at them. You know what I'm saying? It says, in a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. Exactly. You know? And how do you get a merry heart? Let's get that real quick. This is how you get a merry heart. This is Ecclesiasticus Archer the first chapter. In verse 11, it says, the fear of the Lord is honor and glory and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. It says, the fear of the Lord maketh a merry heart and giveth joy and gladness in a long life. All right. So a merry heart comes from fearing the Lord and putting the Lord first, which gives you a cheerful countenance or, cheerful face. So that's all I had for you here today. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Bashem Achakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone, who will and teach well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Until the next time, we'll say shalom. And like always, repent, for Yahweh Shai is coming back sooner than what you believed. All right, shalom.